Hello, everyone. Shoutouts here, bringing you a new and I guess maybe final update video for FFBE JP. And joining me today, I had no other choice but to go and take Sinzar out of retirement. So Sinzar's here with me today. You can say hello.
Hey there, guys, and thank you for waking me up. I have not done much with Brave Exvius for a while, but I am extremely happy to come back, join your video, and talk about the final update for the final version of the game.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm really happy that you accepted my invitation because we started. I mean, I started talking about this game with you, and you carried me through so much of the game. So it feels like a full circle moment that we do this last video together. It's kind of nostalgic in a way,
It is,
and
definitely.
what better way to finish it than to go with Rain and Lastwell, the very first units in the game? Even the game itself is doing a full circle moment, right? So Rain and Lastwell, a tag unit for the very last units we are getting in the game. So they are just right off the bat. They are a free unit, so it's not a banner. And I believe we are going to be able to have like a farming event or something where you can get fragments for them to get them all the way to EX3. So there's that. So we can go and look at their categories right away because that's where it's actually very interesting. So they do have all elements, so fire through dark. They are attackers and mages. Well, they are attacker and mage, sorry. FFB and FFB season 4 for some reason. Now, obviously, I haven't followed the story much to know whether these versions of Reign and Lastwell are really season 4, but whatever. They are basically for other categories. They're rewards because they're free. Blessing of the Crystal, Rebellion, blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna read them all. They're all categories except the silly categories like bonds or Otherworld or Flowers of the Battlefield because they're two boys and they needed Fina there, or Lastwell to put on a longer wig or something. So that's what they got. So very good for that, I will say. But when we're going to look at other things, we'll see that they might not be EOSter level of powerful. Anyway, so what do you think, at least, that they're giving us like all this generosity in terms of categories for the last unit?
It's pretty cool. So I would assume that categories and leader skills and all are still a big deal. So, like a small disclaimer, people watching the video, since Global closed, I have not been that tuned into Brave Exvius. I, hang out in the Discord every now and then, but as far as following updates, I have not been super into the meta. So any kind of like meta or mechanics conversations is a year out of date on my end. So back in the day, categories and leader skills were a big deal. So assuming that's still the case, then them having everything means they can go on kind of any team because they're all elements, all categories. So take your weakest unit, kick them out, and put them in.
Exactly, and you're correct. It's still leader skills, like leading the meta, but also overdrives as well. They do not have a leader skill. They do have overdrives. I haven't talked in a long time. Coming out of my cage, and I've been doing just fine. Sorry, I'm not gonna sing again yet. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, they also have a boost skill. We're gonna look at that a little later. So we're going to go look at the TMR as TMR. So TMR, pretty standard, just a materia with 50% attack and magic because they are both attacker and mage, but also 100% all ailment resist. Sadly, no stop, no charm, no zombie, no... what else is there? Is there something else? Oh, well,
Stop,
death.
charm, zombie.
It would be death as
Eh,
well.
yeah, death. Have
But
they
no.
ever made a unit that's just naturally immune to instant death?
No, I don't think there has ever been one. And I don't even think there's anything protecting us against zombie either. So that would have been great because the latest True Grace trial has some zombie mechanics to it, and it's annoying. But I guess we'll need to learn fights and actually do them properly because we're not getting anything that's just gonna snap their fingers and just destroy the entirety of the game.
Well,
There,
well, to be fair, E- on global when they had the final global,
Mhm.
even with that new Esther, like the global exclusive hard trials, the I forget what they were called, but those four trials that were
Yeah.
comebacks that were incredibly hard.
Yeah,
Like
there were SBBs, right? It was Kefka, it
yes,
was XDeath,
yes,
yeah.
and even with Esther, like most people still could not clear them with the mission because they were still really hard, even with that unit.
That is true, but I mean, if you had a little bit of preparation, it wasn't that bad. Because honestly, I think Kefka I did or XDeath I did following your video. But there's another one I just like went in with a team with the right killers, and I think it was XDeath actually, and something just went bad because I wasn't well prepared, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna wing it, and it worked, and I made it in the proper turns. So they weren't all that hard. I mean, yes, they were hard, but a little bit of preparation was all you needed. So long as you brought the little bunny girl, of course, and a friend. So yeah, for Rain and Lastwell, their STMR is a great sword because great sword is the best type of weapon in the game, and it's Crimson Saber and Purple Lightning. So they're swords. So it's a great sword, but it's two swords. 300 attack, 300 magic, extremely good. And it's giving them 500 flat attack and magic, so perfect for them anyway. So they're not going to be fighting the rest of your team for the Dark Vision's Greatsword. Well, maybe they would take it still for the variants if you really wanted them to pop off, but like with this, they're going to be more than enough and give the Greatsword to somebody else. They don't have a vision card because who cares about vision cards in this day and age? And their EX ability at EX3, instead of being an overkiller like most everyone, they have here a 500 flat attack and magic for FFBE units. I don't know about that unknown rule ID here, what that is. um, but I, anyway, it's probably just applying to everyone in the FFBE category. So,
So just out of curiosity,
yeah.
these days, who's actually making the wiki page? 'Cause I know like it passed a few times to people that some of them aren't playing anymore. So who's making the current wiki?
You're right. The current person taking care of the wiki is Bakaneko. I think that was
Okay.
his last time doing it, because I don't think there's going to be any other upgrades. But he gracefully accepted to take care of the wiki after Yeti left. He gave him his access, showed him how to do it, and he started doing it. And he was always very helpful, very quick in making it. So thank you very much for your services if you're listening. Also, thank you very much to everybody else who's done it as well. Because seriously, MVP guys, doing this for so long and keeping it updated and keeping it clean for everyone, that definitely helped literally everyone that ever played that game.
For sure.
So shout out to anyone that's done it. Now, in terms of the stats, I never really stopped to look at these, but I'm pretty sure that's standard. Do you remember?
Yeah, it's
It is.
it's pretty much by memory. I think that's the same as it's been for like 3 years. They're all the
That's
same.
that's ridiculous. And ENV Plus
So
just has that all the time,
pretty disappointing. Like
right?
some things they'll power creep, other things they just like leave exactly the same with no variety whatsoever. I don't
Yep.
know. It always seemed dull to me that there was no variation whatsoever in stats. They're all just exactly the same.
Agreed. That could have been like a tiny something to like, get you to pull in another banner. Like, oh, that unit will have better stats. Slightly better
Mm,
stats, like a light power creep instead of going from 75% Imperil Field to 200% Imperil Field. Because that's ridiculous.
mm-hmm.
But that's the path they chose, and we can't really draw them back. They have 30% fire and ice resist. Just cute. I just wanted to mention it. In terms of what they can equip, swords, great swords, and katanas, because they're rain and last well. For their kit, I will say just about what I would have expected from a banner unit if the game wasn't dead. That's what I would have expected from them. Considering the game is dying, my expectations were a little higher because Global gave us, Esther, game breaking Esther, who had crazy amplifies, crazy modifiers. Unfortunately, that's not the case with Rain and Lastwell. They are just our good old boys, and they have a pretty standard kit. So EX1, they get the 500% LB damage buff. EX2, they get a 300% all element amplify for themselves only. So it's 300% well, physical magic, all elements. Otherwise, the rest is actually pretty standard, considering they can be both physical attackers and mages. They do have two different cooldowns here for their LB. Um, but yeah, that's about it. Considering Last Will's here, there's a perfect dispel on demand in its AoE. Rain has here the Awakened Undermine, or was it? Yeah, True Undermine. Yeah, True Undermine for the 85% break to all stats, AoE as well. They have triple cast. They have some chains for AoE, some chains for Bolting Strike, and they are as well tag chainers. They have a self 1000% all stat buff on demand, so this is pretty nice. So you don't need to, well, I mean, you still need to have something for the rest of the team. So Blue Mage Fina can still, use her 800% and be useful. They have here, oh, this one, oh, undermine something else. It's a 90% defense and spirit break, 60% all their weapons imperil, and 180% all element imperil, and attack and magic 85%, I guess, if it's worth mentioning. Considering we've had in the game 91% imperil breaks for a while, and even on LB that you can kind of do on demand. What do you think that the EOS unit, albeit a free unit, doesn't even have a 91% break?
Yeah, it's kind of strange. And the uh, the 60% weapon imperil, is that the highest we've seen yet?
Well, we've had that on units since what Ultimate Reign, I think, with
Well,
the
yeah, but I mean,
rod and
has anything gone higher than 60?
never, no, nothing higher than
Oh,
60.
okay.
So par for the
So on
course.
par.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the elemental imperil 180, which I know is on the low, and isn't like 300 been the high end.
Yeah, 300 is usually something you're going to get on a Magnus ability here at EX2 for most units. 180 on a cooldown like this is par for the course once again. You're going to have breaker units, which would have on a cooldown 200% sometimes. But like for all elements, 180 is pretty much the thing that you're going to
Okay.
see. So par for the course once again. I guess it's a free unit, so they had to lowball the numbers here and there. Chain. Then they have some chaining abilities here. Well, this one, bolting strike, tag chain with a high modifier. I'm doing quote unquotes here because 11,700 is not that much compared to the actual modifier for the current LBs. But this is once again kind of what all units have. So nothing to really talk about. They do have a here 150 all element amplify for themselves, 200% all omni killer for themselves as well. So this is very interesting for the killer. For a longer fight, this is also very good. Uh, well, I mean, you have units with an on-demand 200% amplify. Hello, Bards. But
I'd actually be curious if they could actually even use all this because they've only got triple cast, and most of this is either
three
3 or
turns.
two turn duration. Some of the
You're
stuff.
you're
So
right.
like, could they even put all that up on their own? Like that 1,000 buff, 300 amplify, and the big LB buff. Can they even cast it all?
Yeah, they
Well,
could. So turn one, say they would do this, that, and the LB modifier buff. Turn two, they would do this, that, and whatever else. And turn three, they just unleash the LB.
okay.
Um, yeah. What they have as well is an imbue for all their elements, obviously, which also unlocks a couple abilities that we're going to look at a little lower. Um, so literally all elements. There's fire and ice, and then there's the rest under. Don't be don't be alarmed.
Hmm.
There is, as a rain unit always has by now, something to fill the LB gauge. So this is pretty nice. It's a 500 MP regen, 20 ALB, and also focus. So this is for everyone, not just for them. I mean, the focus is just for them, but the other things are for everyone. And then autocast on the next turn. Once again, focus, 300 MP to everyone, and 20 LB fill. And then another turn after, another 300 MP, some LB gauge as well. So you're going to fill the LB gauge to full for everyone with this. And if you have some LB fill on the units themselves, maybe, this is going to be what will push them for another LB. So it can be pretty nice for, multiple bursts. Then again, there is a little buff for everyone here. Is this one, honestly, I don't even know why it's there. I guess, well, it's leadership, which is, the buff ability that Reigns always had. Because this is just like 400% stat buff for everyone, 250 LB damage buff, and 50% general mit. We have units with on-demand abilities that are better than that by now. So why put it on cooldown? Why even give them that? They will never use it until you're really, really in a pickle in a fight, and like your buffer is dead, and this is the only thing that could help you. But really, I don't think that's ever going to be useful. Same for the next ability, because the next ability is a 100% all element amplify and 100% all element imperil for 5 turns. So as we talked about earlier, we have fields for 200% amplify and 200% imperil. Sure, it's all elements and they're free units, but numbers are kind of low once more. I mean, I guess it's one cast for both fields, which can be interesting, but like, why would
But
they do that?
yeah, this is kind of been a common thing with Brave X since the beginning is that the development team doesn't really have any communication with the community.
Yeah,
In some games, the developers will literally be on forums discussing game with the players. But
yeah.
yeah, this is the kind of thing like I'd be curious to ask like how was this designed? Was it because they're trying to watch power creep? Because are they like just I don't know out of touch with the game closing, so they think because it's free, it's got to be toned down? Is someone doing this that has never done a unit design before? Like I don't know. Like you say, this is very strange these decisions because
It's like if they want
it's
to,
what's the point?
yeah,
Exactly like you say. What's the point?
if they want to monitor power creep, there's no more units coming. Nothing can creep this. And the
Yeah.
units
So
before, like you've seen their kits, so you can give something that's slightly higher or on par with it at least. I mean,
this is the kind of thing like I would love to be on like an official forum
yeah,
where the developers would interact and we could ask why was this done and then get an answer. It'll never happen
yeah.
in Brave
Sadly,
X.
I
But
mean,
some games it does, and I always did really wish Brave X had that kind of developer player interaction.
and I mean, you did have some contacts. I wish I had some contacts. Sadly, I don't.
For yeah, for the global side, yes, at this point it's not really a secret.
Yeah,
Behind the scenes, I was able to talk to some of the development heads, not all of them, but some
yeah.
of them, and I would often behind the scenes be like, "What happened here?" And I would usually get an answer. And honestly speaking, most of the time the answer was because of middle management.
Yeah, yeah, that's the problem. People that don't play the game, people that only see numbers and dollar signs.
Hmm.
Ugh. Yeah, and here, I wish we could have like maybe an interview with, I don't know, is it Hirono now? I don't even remember who's taking care of the game. Uh,
Yeah, something I was actually kind of curious about too is
yeah.
in the last like few months, especially after the announcement, has there been any like developer live streams? They did.
uh,
They used to have Hirono came on with those girls that did the announcements, etc. Like, have they still been doing that since the EOS announcement?
No, they stopped doing it like months before, like almost 6 months
Oh,
before. Like we haven't had a live stream in so long. I don't think
okay.
have we even had one in 2025? I'm not even sure we did. It's that bad.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's really sad. I wish they would have had one, and maybe, like a little Q&A section, something. Obviously, like you don't need to speak in English, you don't need to like answer English questions. Just, have your Japanese audience ask questions, wonder about the game, interact with you a little bit one more time. But no, that didn't happen. I mean, they never really had any fan events on GB, did they? I don't think they did.
They had a few like that. I know it's the kind of joke with that like live action musical or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they had I think they had a few things like the Square Cafe meetups they had.
Oh, they did. Okay.
They had a few, not that many, but some.
The problem why that's why the game died. They didn't keep the community up. Like they didn't try to engage with us. Well, us with them because I can't include myself in the Japanese community at all. Anyway, sorry for the rant. Let's keep going. So all the views once more, and like the views are really nothing to talk about. It is AOE, but it's only 50% amplify. It removes all the other elements, so that's nice. But Bards did it better. Snovlinka did it better, and they're older units. Uh, like even Bards, people are saying he's not really meta anymore. So he's a good
Right,
support.
they're
I'm
they're
sorry.
wrong.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to say that. I regretted the words as soon as they came out of my mouth. So for the passives, EX1, 2, 3, the usual ALB modifier boosts, and there are two because there is the physical and the magic one. So that's standard once again. Omni Killer, 100% here at EX3. Omni Killer here, so that's 200%. And what's good? I'm just gonna keep scrolling. When you have TMR equipped, they have 300%. So they have 100% to all killers for free. So you never need to worry about gearing for that. So this is awesome. This is probably like the best part of their kit. So you can just go, full on stats, over killers, chain cap if you need, chain speed, Esper stats, whatever. Like full EP, go ahead, knock yourself out with these units. Um, was there anyone else that ever had that?
That had the 300 to all the things you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Not that I remember on the JP side. Like I think didn't the Esther have it on the global side?
A
I
bit.
don't remember.
Maybe I don't remember. I
But
know.
on
I
the
know the.
JP, I don't.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
think so. Hmm?
I think Squall did.
No,
If you had
Squall.
his,
Yeah, Squall. You needed some stuff. Like there was one materia to give 50 to all, and you gave him Bahamut, and he was 300 to everything. Yeah, that's
oh,
right.
that's right. Okay.
Yeah, but he was the closest to it. You needed like one materia slot and a specific Esper. But for these, anything goes. Their boost skill, pretty standard, unfortunately. It's just full LB fill for the first 3 turns, and a is that one or I need to count. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7. So that's 10 million. Yeah, 10 million HP barrier for the first 5 turns. Oh, that's nice. Um, but anyways, just for them. So at least they're invincible for the first 5 turns.
With
Uh,
this unit, I assume you can only get one copy, right? Or can you farm multiple? You said it was from a farm.
a good question. I'm pretty sure that's only going to be one copy though. I think they're just gonna give the unit for free, and then the shards are gonna be rewards.
Okay.
But I mean I haven't read all the announcement, like all the details. I don't think they've given that much detail either. So we're gonna see when they come out in a couple hours.
Because if you could farm multiple copies, I mean, I assume a team of like 5 of these would definitely be a power creep for some of those trials you're talking about.
That could be actually pretty interesting. Like you bring 4 of them, well, 5 of them if you bring the friend, and then your own leader to mate, so like to lead them with a 2000% stat buff, and that should do pretty well, I guess. If we
Could be
can,
interesting.
listen, yeah, if we can, listen, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it, and if I can get through those trials, I will record it, so people can copy my very easily copyable team. But I don't think that's gonna happen. We'll see. We'll see. Uh, they do have 5 stack of guts as well. And it's above 30%, so they can it can really happen like all of them. So that's great. Like they're literally
That's really good.
yeah, they're literally invincible for 5 turns, and then they're invincible for 5 more hits. A couple of auto casts here. So these are all the LB modifier buffs from for physical and magic. Um, the physical attack. Those are the unlockables. So when you use the fire imbue, you get this and that. So this here, which is only like a 150% imperil AoE and 500 times modifier AoE. So like this is basically nothing. I don't know why you would ever use this because you probably used already the 180% imperil from the other ability. So you're going to be using this if you want for the 14,600 times modifier. This is AoE as well, so I guess if they have a use, it's going to be for Road to Glory. That's going to be very useful, being AoE and tag chain. Yeah, actually, they're going to be pretty useful for that. Yeah,
Well, if you're doing for that, I would assume you just use their LB. LB has all that stuff.
we'll see in a second. But yeah, if I mean, yeah, they start with it too. You're right. And if they're AoE, I don't remember if they're AoE. If they're AoE, we'll
It is,
see.
yeah. Their AOE and tag on the LB.
Well, there you go. You don't need to unlock this then. They do have at the beginning of the fight for the first 5 turns, 100% Omni Killer on themselves, 300% attack and magic buff, and 200% LB damage. They also break all enemies for 87% defense and spirit, and 145 all elements for 5 turns at the beginning of the turn of the fight as well. So those are two like beginning of fight abilities. Once again, peppered through the all the element skills. And that's it for their unlockables. Now, if we look at the overdrives, um, see, that's the thing. I don't know. Usually, the 1,000% stat buff are self only. So I don't know if this is going to be self only as well. Probably. It's just that it's incrementing the counter with attackers and this one with mages. So I don't know. If it does apply to everyone, wow, great. But I am not convinced. Unfortunately, the wiki doesn't really have a wording for it, so we need to see who's the target for the overdrive in game. Like Bloom Fina, for example, or Season 2 Last Will, Season 1 Rain. They have that same thing, and it appears the same on the wiki, so you can only see in game. Oops, well,
Okay.
one of my friends is playing Slay the Spire. Um, and then if we go to the LB, I am not going to look at all of them. So let's just give a summary. So what they have is magic for all elements. They can choose whichever element they want. It is going to be 50% all of their weapon imperil, 160% imperil for the element used. It is a tag chain, and it is with the full modifier. It is wait. Mm, mm. Oh god damn it! I need to do the math. So 120 plus 50, that's 170, that's 245, 340. Okay, so 345. So 1975 times modifier for magic, which is actually, I think that's the meta. That's what everyone has for the mages. Because with the focus, it brings them kind of on par with the physical. And for the physical part, it is 2025 once more. So the same as everybody else in the game. This is non-elemental. They will imperil all element by 160%. And it is also a tag chain when you use the physical. So you're going to have 9 different things to choose from with their LB. Either magic of any element that you want, or the physical that is non-elemental. I don't really know how they're going to show that with the icons. I'm kind of I'm kind of curious to see what it's going to look like. Um, and oh, I guess it's worth mentioning that it is a 48 hits LB, so it's great for the chains, just like Season 1 Rain as well. It's going to be chaining AMOE if you want to send other people with them, but 48 hits. And that's it for the unit, really. What do you think, Sinzar?
I mean, it seems like is it a good unit? It seems to be fine. Like I said, it's got a few questionable skills, but like you say, his modifiers are on par with everyone else. His stats are on par with everyone else. He's got all the typical stuff like the 300 Lafai, etc. So I mean, I guess it seems like for a free unit, seems great, but it's just not going to give you like that automatic win button for all the unfinished content you have in the game. Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I wish we'd have like, a good send off where, hey, if you want to try these trials with your other units, go ahead. But if you want, like a little help, a little push in the back to do it easily, here, have this unit. Just like Esther was. Because
Mhm.
before she released, I think you did a couple of the trials on Global, didn't you?
Yes. So for those final global extreme trials, I think I only beat one of them with all missions before Esther. I think it was
Chaotic Darkness, was it?
yeah, I think it was Chaotic Darkness. I beat that one all missions without Esther. And I think there was like one or two other streamers at the time that beat some of the others as well, and I couldn't be bothered at that point to bash my head and get. I mean, so it was doable, but extremely you needed like perfect play, etc., some luck and all that.
Hmm.
Um, but then after Esther, yeah, I went and cleared them all 100% every
Yeah,
mission.
yeah. Like it was much easier with her. So I would have
Mm,
expected them, to bring that same kind of ease into it. But I mean, they're definitely going to help. Like, don't get me wrong. Like an EX3 unit with those modifiers, those abilities is great. Um, but it's not the carry unit. It's just like one more component to a good team. Uh, so that's where I stand. Like I honestly I don't even think I will try these trials. Like I'll take a shot at it, maybe one or two. But if
so here's the question then. So you mentioned a few people. I'm not going to call them out for being unable to beat the trials, but you said a few people that you know have tried and are unable to beat the trials. So are these trials just unbeaten, period, or are like the high end players, the whales, are they able to clear the trials with all missions?
I don't know actually because Kojimaru, who used to do guide videos for JP, has stopped playing unfortunately when EOS was announced. So he hasn't tried True Race of Light. He hasn't tried the last boss rush. So I haven't seen any footage of anyone clearing the new boss rush. I know that Berde, shout out to you if you're watching the video. Congrats to you if you're watching the video too, because you've cleared True Grace of Light without any guide, and you tried to get through the boss rush, and you made it all the way to the final boss, being me, and obviously I beat your ass because I'm better. Uh, but yeah, like I don't know anyone who's completed it. If like the bigger JP players might not be anywhere I can reach, and they don't record videos. Maybe some people have cleared it, but I don't have any evidence that anyone has. So if they need that unit to
Yes.
do it,
So
hopefully.
that's kind of the reason I'm asking, because if, for example, these hard trials are being cleared by the highest end of players, then this kind of unit is awesome because I'm sure they have skill too, but part of that is having access to like the EX3 perfect team.
Yeah.
And then if you give this unit to really boost up like, a average player that doesn't have maybe they've got like 4 out of the 6 perfect units and they didn't pull the one unit. Maybe this new unit for free could replace their one really outdated unit. And now all of a sudden their team power is on the same level as the big whales. So they can now also clear the trial if they have the player skill to go along with the powerful team. On the other hand, if people are just not beating the trials, period, because maybe they're tuned higher than the accessible power level of units available, then you would expect this unit to come out and then bring up the overall power to the point that they're reasonably doable. So that's kind of the thing you kind of need to know. what
Yeah,
the other players are doing. But
true.
of course, for a JP game, I'm sure a lot of the high end players are only speaking in Japanese in Japanese communities. It's a lot harder for us English speakers to follow that.
Exactly. Like we have no idea who these players are, where they hang out, and what they talk about. They don't know we exist, and they don't care. So I don't think we'll hear about it anytime soon. Like I haven't seen a brag post. I haven't seen anyone share a brag post from another player either. So we'll see, I guess, in the next couple of weeks.
So I actually will say is one thing you can do, or I used to do, is if you just type in the name of the trial in Japanese, you copy paste the Japanese name into
On
YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
You can usually find it. That's how I used to do it way back in the day. I would put the Japanese name in, and I'd watch Japanese players. I couldn't understand them, but I could still watch them and what
Yeah,
they're
get the
doing.
strats. Yeah, yeah.
hmm
Um,
So
you know what? I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try when the game's back up because I don't remember the name of the trial to type it, and sadly my kanji is not good enough so that I can read it from an image and retype it. Well, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, when the game's back up. So I guess all that's left to talk about for the next segment, at least for this update, is the events that we're getting. So we are getting a new Road to Glory. I got this banner here because we are showing, Sky and Wilk, the usual RGG units. But we are also getting shards for Reagan, season two season two Reagan, season two Lastwell, and season three Roka. I'm wondering if there's going to be other units as well that you can choose from for shards, but I think that's very generous because those are awesome units. Roka, Lastwell, and Dark Fina, who's not there, are also getting an upgrade to their leader skills. So right now they were 1700% stat buff, but now they are going to go to 2000% stat buff, like the current meta, so probably to help their categories. So I think Roka was Gathering and Earth. Lastwell, I have no idea. Rebellion and Lightning, I guess. And like it was either one or the other. It didn't need to be both. And Dark Fina was Crystals and Transcendent, I think. Oh my god. I may be so off, but I think that's what it was. So, like those categories, Transcendent didn't really need the help because it had Blue Mage Fina, but there's that. Now we
So,
also,
so, so if I could ask real quick about Road to Glory. So,
yeah,
Road to Glory, back when I played, was always like, we're in beta testing. This is a beta version, etc. It was just going through some old map, clearing high HP trash mobs, and then clearing a boss that didn't do anything other than have high HP. Did they ever get it out of beta to the point where it was interesting and complex, or is it to this day like go to a season one outdoor zone, clear really high HP trash mobs, and then a boss that has a lot of HP and no mechanics? Is that still kind of the way it is, or did they ever make it? You know, did it ever come out of beta? Basically,
I don't think they've ever. Okay, so you have no idea how hard I laughed when you were asking your question. Like I was biting my lip. So unfortunately, I don't think they ever announced that it was out of beta. Because they did one and then they did another and then they didn't do one for like almost a year and then they did another one. But then they removed like the beta tag to it, but it never felt like it got added to the rotation of events. It just like popped up every now and then. And this one will be no different in the fact that it's a rerun of a previous Road to Glory we've already had. And sadly, it always has been like each Road to Glory we've had was go and revisit an exploration from season one, find all the chests, fight the trash mobs. The mobs are more annoying than the boss because like they're very tanky, and you don't like it's an AoE fight. You don't really bring a tank to these events because you want to like plow through. So if you need like some ramping up, then they're going to kill you. So yeah, whenever I needed to strategize for Road to Glory is when I was like, yeah, no, that's too hard. So I'm gonna like cut some modifiers and do an easier version to get to the proper level for the rewards I wanted anyway. But yeah, I think the bosses have gotten a little more interesting. At least the last one, you kind of needed to strategize a little bit, know the rotation to do it properly. But to say that it ever got interesting, I don't think so. It was just a glorified exploration. And as much as we liked, roaming a little bit like a regular RPG with the game, I don't think that the way the mechanics worked and, some limited abilities, and the very limited amount of MP we would have for longer like maps, I don't think the game was really geared for that, sadly. So it was always annoying to me. I'm not a fan of Road to Glory, sadly.
Okay, yeah, I guess it's too late at this point. But Road to Glory was always something that I personally saw had a lot of potential. You just needed to do it correctly, and it maybe kind of never did. Oh well.
Yeah, yeah, I think they could have done something good with it. Um, I don't know. I didn't like the scoring method, how, like, if a lot of people are in a higher rank than you, then you're gonna go down and down and down, and then you need to like try harder to get to like the super high modifiers. How about if you get to that score, you get the highest reward tier? Like, it's not like the rewards were that good and game breaking. They weren't even giving you lapis, as far as I remember in there. It was just like shards and tickets for fragments, not fragments, but what was it? The thing you needed to upgrade the emblems to upgrade the abilities for Wilk and Sky, for example.
Oh yeah.
Um, anyway, it's the last time. Yay, let's go and do it. But I haven't been competing in the game a lot. I think the only times I was interested was when there was a shared rank one, because then it's like, oh, I tried to devise a strategy to get rank one that works for me, tailored to my team with the units I have. Not, hey, this guy
Well,
has EX3 of everything and I can't compete at all.
well, the Road to Glory, you always could share rank one, right?
Well,
Because you could always clear all the missions, and it was just like it wasn't like a variable. Either you cleared them all or you didn't, right? And if you cleared them all, you had the max score, so you shared rank one with everybody. Did they change that at some point?
no, no, that is correct. Like, you could still, if but so long as like someone goes and gets one modifier more than what you had, then it might be like the one thing that's pushing you one level below, because you didn't want to bother having no access to your LB, or you didn't want to bother having like that extra trash mob, or giving them like too much survivability. Like, sometimes they got so tanky if you give them all the mods, like it's kind of crazy. Uh, so I don't know. I never had the patience to go that far. But sure, you could make it work if you want to give like an hour to go through that exploration and make it work. But like that was always too much for me. And like, to be honest, the last Dark Visions that came out, like, you were fighting, what was it, Golem, Ashura, and someone else I forgot, another Esper. Was it Tetrasulfid? Was it Garuda? I really don't remember. Like, see, I've done them just to get the clear rewards, but I haven't even gone back to do a real clear on them. First, because I forgot. Second, because I I didn't really care. Like, with the game dying, I don't want to compete anymore.
That was basically me, JP Dark Visions, from day one till the last day. I'd go in there, I'd do my turn one clear, which would of course perfect score the first like 8 bosses, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I would do the turn one clear in the last three. Be like, all right, I'm gonna come back and do a real clear. A few days later, and those few days later never came. It
Yeah,
would just be
that's
like my turn one kill with like bad score in the last 3 bosses.
yeah, and because like, even if I try hard, the best I'm gonna get is 1,000 lapis for the very like lowest rank. That still gets lapis, and so I never really bothered. And that was fine by me. Like, I'm not a whale. I don't put money in the game, so I don't deserve to be in the high ranks. And as much as I like to yap about the game, I'm no big strategic buff to make spreadsheets with my turn chart and everything. Like, I'm not as good as you are with this, so I kind of winged it most of the time and just read maybe like the wiki page for turn by turn and reacted accordingly, and that's it. But yeah. So yeah, that's where I stand right now. Uh, Anyway, for the other event, we have here the finale fragment dungeon. So they've already announced what this was. I think it's going to be replacing the regular fragment dungeon until the end of the game. So this will be each unit you put in there will get 5 shards, like a flat 5 shards, like the collaboration dungeons we've had a couple of times. So knock yourselves out, go and get as many fragments as you can. But as Sinzar and I were discussing at the beginning, well, before the video started, um, you know, as generous as this sounds, it's really not generous considering we have what 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks left with the game. Uh, so at
Yeah,
the
we were talking about like if you've got a unit that is just hitting EX2, you still can't hit EX3 with this dungeon. It's not going to be enough. I was saying it should be like 100 fragments per unit because like who cares? Well, let them
exactly
have fun.
exactly let's enjoy our units because what's going to happen after that? You're not selling us anything. We can't even buy lapis anymore. There's no new banners. You're not losing anything from giving us more toys.
Hmm.
But what can we say? They decided not to. Then next we have a story event. So this is Fundamental Forces from Global. I believe this was the last story event for Global as well, wasn't it?
Oh, I couldn't. I mean, it definitely was because yeah, because both JP and Global stopped making story events like years ago, and then Global made a few exclusive ones.
Mhm.
Um, I forget the last one it was. I think it was with Ethne, wasn't it? So it wasn't Fundamental Forces. It was Ethne and Rick, or maybe that was
Oh
the year
no,
before.
yeah, Ethne and Rick were before Fundamental Forces.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So I guess yeah. So this probably was the last one.
yeah. Unfortunately, the units aren't coming, so it's just the story event. So go and get some lapis. Yay, enjoy. And last but not least, we have here the grand finale boss rush part 2. I don't know if there's another one coming later. I think there was. So this one this time is Iron Giant, Lich, and Master Tonberry, was it?
Hmm.
Do you remember those fights? Do you remember a little bit how they went?
Oh, I do absolutely. Yeah. So Tonberry, classic Tonberry. You've only got a few turns before they start one-shotting you.
It was 7 turns,
Um,
right?
the exact turn. I forget the exact turns. Um, Iron Giant was very easy because that unless they change it, that one you can take 0 damage by negating everything. So that one's a complete joke. Lich though was very hard if you can't speed through it. So you're saying these are very bulky, so you probably
Yeah.
cannot one shot the phase,
Hmm.
which would be pretty hard because he gives you an undispellable damage over time, which does very high damage. Um, he's very mechanically complex. If you use certain elements, he counterattacks. He revives 3 times, gets harder each time. If he's under, is it 40 or 60% health? And the final phase, he starts going crazy, basically.
Oh, I didn't remember
So
that.
you, yeah. Well, the reason is because
We always one
in
shot
all
it.
versions, it was like you just one shot. So like you never even see all that. But if you were like a really new player, you would see like that's kind of like the divide in the community. It's like everyone's like Lich is so hard, I can't win. People are like, what are you talking about? It's like it's a one-turn fight. But then if you can't do it in one turn,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Wasn't there
So
wasn't there AoE
yeah.
death in that fight or something?
Yeah, he does AoE death as well. So you would need not AoE, no, not
No,
AoE.
single
It was a
target.
single target death. So you needed like safety bit
Yeah.
plus passive provoke to
Oh
negate
right.
that.
Yeah, because
And then of
back
course a lot,
back then there
and then
wasn't.
a lot,
Go
yeah, and
ahead.
a lot of newer players didn't have like the
Yeah,
60 star quartz to buy safety bit, so that
true.
it made it really hard for them.
True. And back then there wasn't like tons of things you could get with death resist. Like now, we have like I think 6 or 7 different things that can give it to us. Um,
Oh, and I actually recall why Lich was also pretty hard back in the day is because he did that resist removal and then silence where
Silence.
you can't immune it.
You're
And this is
right.
before like status resist buff, so you literally impossible to resist.
Right. Not that
And that
magic was
was
that big a deal. Like it would only negate your healer, basically.
well, yeah, but then again, if you're killing them quickly, it's no big
Yeah.
deal. But if you're not, you're silenced. This is before everything was an ability, so
Yeah,
silence meant you cannot heal.
yeah.
This is back when like was it the Huntress Fina? What was she called? The White
Oh my
Lotus
god.
Fina,
Yes,
whatever.
yes.
Either
Hmm.
that or Ayaka, and they had like Curaja was their heal. You can't cast that,
Hmm.
and your party's bleeding out from damage over time, and there's no way to immune it. And then
Hmm.
the mission was don't use items. Of course, the answer is most people would use like a was it
A
which
remedy.
one remedy or what's the one that I'm a terrible Final Fantasy
Oh,
fan.
echo screen.
Echo Screen. That's it. I could not think of the word. Echo Screen. Yeah. So you could use that, but then you'd fail the mission.
Yeah, yeah. And
I mean, yeah. So like Lich is a cool trial.
I'm
Unfortunately, he was also very easy to just blow up because of power creep.
Yeah, but I wonder how it's gonna go now. And Iron Giant, as you said, was kind of a joke because you could completely immune all the damage, but it depends what version of it. Because wasn't like the original version very easy because you could immune, but the Scorn version different with the meteors and counterattacks?
Oh yeah, one of them had meteor, huh?
Hmm.
So that you can't immune meteor. Um,
So I wonder which version they're
I for,
using.
yeah.
I
I just know Iron Giant always seemed like a very easy trial. Like Lich and Tonberry were tricky if you couldn't just blow them up, but Iron Giant like was never hard in my opinion.
Hmm. I mean, Iron Giant, they even released them as the very last trial for the 12 race trials.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it was a complete joke.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah.
there never was a really hard version of it. We'll see. We'll see what they do with this one. But like he's probably gonna be wave one. Um so just like a freebie to start, and then you have to really like bash your head against the wall with Lich, because you have to kill it 3 times. And then Tonberry, the problem with Tonberry is probably gonna be like its AoE because of the stupid like small Tonberries you need to kill, the green ones. And you have, I think it's 7 turns before you get killed.
So the thing is, like some of these trials are pretty easy to make challenging with like one or two small mechanic adjustments. Like the reason he's so easy is because evasion.
Hmm.
So you just give the boss 1,000 accuracy. Now all of a sudden
Yep.
he's a real challenge.
True. True. I mean, maybe was there a lot of things that were uncoverable in his abilities? Because I mean, you can have just a physical cover tank and you'll be fine.
Um, I don't remember.
Because probably bringing Daisy for a fight like that would be great because she can physical cover for the first fight, she can magic cover for the second one, and I don't remember what the Tunberries did, so she can use whatever cover she needs there. Because she can do both like physical and magic cover. Um, but yeah, that's it for the events. You can still go try the Demon Wall, two-headed dragon and Ultros fight, from the previous update, and I think there might be another one coming, at the beginning of October. But I could be wrong. I know there's no more new units, and the only a new event we're going to be getting is a Dark Visions, in October again. And once again, like I'm sorry for the doomsaying, but this is my last video, so you'll never have to hear this kind of thing again. But the next Dark Visions, like, why do you even compete? What do you do with the rewards they give you? Where are you going to be using the units?
Well, the thing is, like for Dark Visions, like some players, of course, did it because dark matter and all that. But the people that care about Dark Visions, they didn't do it for the reward. They did it for the EP. So I guess it's
Yeah, okay, just to
for,
show
for the
off.
whales that
Yeah.
are still playing, they can show off for 3 weeks
Hmm.
that I made the final top league. Like for example, on the global side, if you remember, Robot DA
Yes.
frequently brought up that he was the number one on the global's last Dark Visions. He brought that up all the time. So whoever's the top number one can, until the end of time, say that their claim to fame was they're the top Dark Visions players on Brave Exvius.
Gotcha. It's the bragging rights. Okay. So that's it for the events. Now I guess, what I would like to say is a, proper send off for the game. Why don't you get us started? Like, what was your best memory of the game, Global or JP?
For me, so it's a little I guess unfair to say I enjoyed Clash of Wills because that was a global exclusive.
That's fine.
So for content that was in both versions, I would say Chamber of Arms,
Okay.
100%.
Okay. Oh, so you were like early on because you need to strategize with the 10 units. See,
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was playing back then, and that's what I was talking with my boyfriend earlier. If there's an offline version that pops up at some point because they're gonna do something similar with was it Champions of the Continent for Octopath Traveler? If they do something like that with Brave Exvius, I'd love to try my hand at the 4-star, like 3-star, 4-star era because I've never played during that time.
Be pretty cool.
Yeah, and Chamber of Arms to me was always like, bring 5 units that are physical, 5 units that are magic, and switch if you need, kill the boss. Make sure you have the immunity for the proper thing, and that's it. I guess I started playing around the release of what was it? The Crab. What was it the 10th or the 11th one? Like near the end of
What's
them.
his name? Not no, I'm thinking Ald Hero, but that's not. That was the werewolf
No.
dude.
Um.
I can't think of his name.
Anyway, that's the one like that I guess was hard at the time, but wasn't that hard because we were in the 5 to 7 star era back then. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, the one that was the two that I thought were coolest, just from like overall would be Nunkey
Mhm.
and Vindemiatrix. That's like the little adventuring party that turns into undead as the fight goes on. And
Yes,
then N- Nunkey was that like mage
the
that turned
mage.
into that rainbow dragon. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
So you need like
But it's
there was a ton of HP locks in those fights, right?
Vindemiatrix, yes, because every single member of their party had an HP lock. It was like every 10% until like 40%.
Hmm.
At that point, they were all dead, and it was just like the undead version of them.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was kind of cool because each 10%, one of the party would die, and you'd see the sprite change and all. That was so cool.
And yeah,
Yes.
as you said, the sprite works that went in those was probably the most interesting part. And just the same when they did the reborn part for Princess Bialkua and whatever the other ones, Toshalus or however that's supposed to be translated. Those fights, like the 2 or 3 sprites that they have, are so good.
Yep. Like the first one, whatever that name was, the spider.
Yeah, yeah,
But
Princess
like she
Bialkua,
she
yeah.
started off as like a little dress, like you I was not expecting like a spider to pop out, and then all of a sudden you realize she's like a big demon spider. That was so cool. And then unfortunately, Global never saw the second one,
Yeah,
Tosha or whatever, the like
Toshalus, whatever that is, yeah.
succubus salamander guy kind of thing, however
Yeah,
you describe it.
yeah, the guy that turns
He
into like a snake beast. Yeah, yeah,
he was really awesome looking. Well, yep,
yeah. I think those were probably the place where they put the most work because the rest was mostly adapting existing sprites and just creating some AI for the bosses. But those were completely original. There even was some story behind most of them, which
yeah.
was never really developed. Like they started doing some story events for some of them, and then they were like, "Yep, we're dropping this. No money coming from that." Once more.
Never understood because they were so cool.
Yeah, I think we need to observe a minute of silence for all the dead content. All the things that they dropped along the way. So like the 3-star, 4-star trials, the Chamber of Arms Reborn, the scoring trials because not everyone has a scoring trial. What else? The grace the grace trials that don't have all elements. Hello, true grace of dark wind, grace of ice, grace of earth that will never exist. um I It's so sad to me that they've started these things but never completed them, like releasing the units for the Chamber of the Arms. um we have Elnath, we have, what was the Alhina. That's it, was it? Oh, Sheraton.
Um, yeah, Sheraton was a unit, and then the one from the snake trial,
Oh, Tegmine. Yeah,
the guy
Tegmine.
Yeah, him.
Mhm.
Yep.
So I wish we
And then
got.
also just, a moment of silence for them like taking all of the RPG out of the game, which is what drew me to the game in the very first place. Like just walking around cities in
Yeah.
season one, and I think season two had city. Yeah, it did have
Yes.
in season two.
Hmm.
Like, not too long ago, I went back and I showed some of my when I very first started the game, the soft release of global before the official release, and I was posting like I was so proud, like I was sharing that I found like hidden treasure chests in cities. Like if you walk behind this fake wall, you can get like a star quartz. And I was so proud. I was sharing it on the forums. And those posts from like 2015 are still there on the forums. Like every now and then I'll go back and read that thread and just like that was so cool in the game. And then after season two, they just stopped. Just
Yeah.
no more cities, no more questing,
Uh-huh.
barely any explorations, and those stopped entirely after season three.
Hmm.
So
I mean, there
yeah,
was like one exploration in season three, and like the thing with exploration, as I said earlier, is like it wasn't tailored much to the mechanics of the game in a way, but they were easy enough, like the exploration, to just keep them there. But too much work for them to develop was the problem, I think. And I think I remember hearing that the feedback the players gave them was they didn't like explorations mostly, but cities they should have kept, like some place to go buy items, to have quests, because as much as some of them were obtuse and long to do, you never really had to. But if you wanted to, that's, as you said, RPG elements to the game that they took out. I remember like really being really impressed, as long as it was, the Madame Adele quest. Like that quest line was something.
yep. And then again, this is probably most players like I hated it. But in season one, the whole Ravens quest line with all the keys, you found the keys spread through the entire world. The
Yeah.
Gale keys, the Earth keys, the Fire keys, whatever.
Hmm.
And it was just it made the game cool, and it made I don't know it's what drew me to the game originally and kept me, and I loved it. I was sad to see it go after a few years.
I absolutely agree. And you know what? The thing that made people not like it is when you join the game later, it is hard to keep up. It is hard to go and grab all these things. It is long, it's exhausting, and I understand. But if you were playing the game back then, that was cool. Like, hey, you have like four new chests you can go grab. There's a new area, you can go do this now in that old place. There's this thing that unlocks. And it kind of built on the world. Like it was very cool. Like it gave you that sense of progression that you never really had later on with the game, did you?
And
I
then like you say, like some players didn't like exploration. And if we're being brutally honest, explorations, I didn't love them either. Like I certainly appreciated the grandiosity that they brought to the game. Like they made the game feel more open and more realistic. Like, going through that huge was it the Wind Shrine? The first
Mhm,
time you fight Dark Veritas
mhm.
in there's like that big shrine on the second continent or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, 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 yeah. It is the Wind Shrine. Is it a Wind Temple or something? Because yeah, it is a Wind
Something
Shrine.
like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
Wind Shrine. Yeah,
And
yeah.
that just made it more awesome going through the story and seeing that kind of stuff. And taking that away,
Hmm.
I don't know, like I can see both sides. It was tedious, it was long, a lot of random battles. It was slow for a mobile game where you're supposed to be able to play in like 5 minute increments. Maybe it wasn't the best, but at the same time, it made it more RPG ish and
Yeah.
made it like how many mobile games are on the market that no one can even name or remember? I bet people that play this game, even if they only played it for like 3 months, they probably still remember it today because it was just
True.
different.
True. I mean, my boyfriend hasn't played that game for like what, 4 to 5 years. It's 5 years now. And like he still remembers the game. He still wants to talk about the meta here and there with me. He's still interested in
Mm-hmm.
knowing like, what's going on sometimes. Because he liked the game when he was playing, but eventually he just got burnt out because it was always kind of the same. But if they kept bringing new elements, if they kept, like developing on the RPG elements, or giving viability to older units, because he really loved using older units to try to do like trials. Um, that would have kept him playing. Like we have to remember it's an RPG, as you said. It's a Final Fantasy game. That's what drew us to the game to begin with. Well, most people, I have to shamefully admit, I was playing that game because of Ariana Grande, but I'm an FF fan first. um, but yeah, it's and I mean, okay, I random tangent, sorry. But I mentioned Ariana Grande, and just like the collabs that we had for that game. That is crazy, some of them that we've had. Like Katy Perry was in there. Okay, she fell from grace, let's say it now. But she was in there while she was still somewhat cool. We had some people we've never heard of in that game as well. And we had collabs from like iconic games that people were so excited about all the time. Like not counting all the Dragon Quests. I mean, sorry if you like Dragon Quest, like no shade. But every time there was Dragon Quest, I wasn't excited. What was your
Yeah, the collaborations were like hit or miss for me. The ones that felt in world like the Dragon Quest, at least the Dragon Quest one was the same thematically. Like it was still swords and sorcery like Final Fantasy.
yeah.
So Dragon Quest, they overdid it, but sure that fit. Some of them not so much, like Deus Ex.
Yeah, no, that
I
was
love
weird.
the series. I love the series, but it doesn't belong in a Final Fantasy.
Agreed.
Um,
Tomb
and then
Raider.
the Tomb Raider, etc. The Rico Rodriguez with his little submachine gun. Like this
Yeah,
is not Final Fantasy type stuff. Of
agreed.
course, you could argue that Laguna had the machine gun too, so maybe it is Final Fantasy. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, and then like the real world collabs. I don't know. Like I never liked them, but I'm a big enough person to realize the point of them and what they did for the game. Like sure,
Hmm.
completely out of left field, but it brought in players. And the JP did the same thing with these goofy collabs. Remember, JP had the Family Mart collaboration. Like, what?
Yeah,
That's no, but they did. They literally had a little convenience store you did during that you'd walk into during the collab. So
yeah.
JP did this goofiness too. It wasn't just global.
That is true. We have to remember, like, and we never had those units because Family Mart doesn't exist anywhere in America that I know of, anyway. And like Cafe Charlotte was she, and yeah, there's tons of units we never got that were collab units for GP, and that was pretty cool. That they did these things for real. Well, I guess that was a real world event for Cafe Charlotte, was it?
Oh yeah, I think it was some that in Japan and the Family Mart
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, you need to go there to have a code to like something to enter to get the unit. Uh yeah, they've done a lot of things there. Um what was your favorite collab from what they've done? I mean like
Ooh.
liking the unit, not like what the unit did, like liking the character.
Oh my god, I guarantee I'm gonna forget some, but no, at this point there were so many, and there was a few that I'm like, oh, this is easily Parasite Eve, Eye of Brain,
Good choice. Very good
and
choice.
also kind of doesn't fit the whole Final Fantasy thematic, but I thought that was really awesome that that happened after they like teased that in like 2018 or something, and then like 6 years went by till we finally got it. So that was awesome that it had happened.
It is. I mean, you say it's not very Final Fantasy related, but let's remember that Parasite Eve, like the way they've already described that game, was Resident Evil meets Final Fantasy. So somewhat.
True. I mean, I guess it kind of was. I mean, I guess I'm really. The more I think of it, like my whole like disclaimer or my qualification of not Final Fantasy is like modern weaponry, like machine guns and grenades. I made the comment of Laguna, but like most Final Fantasy games have that, like Barrett,
Yeah, Barrett
Laguna.
has a gun.
I guess Final Fantasy 9 was
No,
pure sword,
yeah, that was
but like
Return. Yeah.
then you go to 10. Did 10 have guns? I guess not
Yes,
really.
yes, the monks
Oh, of
in
course.
Bavel, they had guns. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Spira, everything in Spira was high
Yeah,
tech.
yeah,
So
Machina.
a lot of Final Fantasies do have high tech. So maybe I really should ease up on. Oh, it doesn't belong because it kind of does.
So basically, what I hear is if it wasn't in Final Fantasy V, then it doesn't belong.
Pretty much.
Like, I mean, I kind of understand though what you mean. Like someone from, like as you said, Rico Rodriguez, like what the hell is going on? But to me, A2B from what's that name? Near Automata, like
Here.
they kind of
Hmm.
fit still the theme, you know, like sure they're machines, but in a dystopian world, and they're fighting with like swords, not just guns. It's not, you know, it's not Star Wars out there, is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Well, then again, you got Final Fantasy 12. Kind of is
Oh,
Star Wars.
yeah, yeah, no, that is literally the plot and the soundtrack to Star Wars. Uh, but I hated that game. Excuse me, any Final Fantasy 12 fans. I've never finished it, and I will never finish it. I'm not able to. Oh, oh God. Oh my God. What else? I mean, I'm sad to see the game go, but I'm also, you know, I've moved on already from just being a login simulator lately. Uh, it's sad that I won't be making any more videos because, you know, what else am I going to be yapping about? And I'm not very good at most games, so I would just make people laugh by being bad. Um, so what else should I show? There's nothing else. Like,
Well, you mentioned like the legacy of the IP.
yeah.
So, do you think they're going to keep this as like a real Final Fantasy IP? For example, in oh, what is that game with all the characters, Dissidia or whatever,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
So, do you think we're going to see like Rain and Lastwell show up in the next version of Dissidia, or are they just forgotten once the doors close?
I mean, they have been added to Record Keeper a couple of weeks back. So technically, they still exist in the universe somehow, and I don't even think they're considered like collab units or anything, because they're not limited time, is what I mean in Record Keeper. I would love to see them appear in other games. I would love if they would make a standalone game, like you know, if they go back. If they just give to Square Enix the rights to that April's Fool trailer that they've done and say, do what you want with this, and that Square Enix goes, you know what, we're gonna do it, and they do it, that would be awesome. Like you remember that April's Fool trailer?
Yeah, and
The,
I think I mentioned this in my little like final behind the scenes video, but that actually was not an April's Fool's trailer. That was literal early development for a sequel.
right.
It got canceled. But yes, that was literally a game they were developing, and it got canceled in early development. But they decided to use footage from that game as the April Fool. So that wasn't made for April Fools. That was already made
Right.
like beforehand.
Right. I
It was
remember. Yeah, I remember that
a
you said
game
that.
that could have been, but didn't pan
We're living in the worst timeline now. It's confirmed.
out.
I mean, it's not too late. It could still happen. Who knows? Obviously it's not gonna happen. Like I'm living in a fantasy world if I say that. Uh, but you know, it's good to hope sometimes. I don't even think I'm gonna go for another. I'm not gonna go for another gotcha game. But if I had one wish, is I guess they could go like the Mega Man X dive route and just release the game. Like you could pay to get an offline version of the game where there is some sort of progression, like no gotcha elements, no pulls, no currency. Well, no pulling currency anyway. Just like you know, currency to unlock. Well, not yeah, unlock units and awaken units, but like some sort of progression. I don't know how they could do that. Like maybe like I don't know, clear that chapter of the story and then you get those trials and access to those units or whatever. Um,
So people frequently mention that, and I got to be honest here. I'm kind of on the other side of the decision.
okay,
I don't think a standalone single player version of Brave Exvius would even be any good. Like, I don't know. I very much feel like it's almost kind of like what's the point? Now I'm not talking about for playing through the story. Like if you want to see the story, okay, and they're actually doing that in the JP side, giving you the story as a
yes,
downloadable like storybook almost.
you're right. Yeah, but
But
you need to speak Japanese.
yeah, but other than the story, like so take the story aside. So just playing like I want to just pick up the game and play Brave X. Like I don't think that would ever work without just completely rebuilding how the game works.
Well, that's the problem.
Because
Yeah.
like all the trials are staggered in terms of when they were released in terms of power creep. So how do you deal with that? Like again, if you just go and refigure, like you unlock this unit after this, like that would be such a massive undertaking. It's never going to happen.
That's what I'm
So people
thinking
are
as
like,
well.
I just want to pick up and log in and play the game. What are you playing? Like, are you going to just like go and do the most recent trial that's still kind of relevant with power creep? Like, you probably the people that want to do this are the ones that are really heavy in the game anyway. So they've already beaten these trials on the live servers. So like,
True.
so realistically, like, you haven't played in a while. Do you have any desire to go and log into Brave Exvius and re-clear the Grace of Fire?
Hell no, I hate
Like,
Grace of Fire.
does that give you like any satisfaction? I think people that want this are just really like heavily nostalgia. They miss the
Hmm.
game. I understand that. Completely understand. I'm the same way. I'd love for the game to keep going, but I have no desire to have like assuming they just kept the servers online as is for eternity. I would
That
never again log in for eternity. Like
that
for the
yeah.
last like month of global, for the last 12 months of JP, I have not logged in. I could
Hmm.
have, but there's nothing to do. So what would be the point? There's nothing to
Yeah.
do if you log in.
That
So
that I
that's my kind
completely
of counterpoint.
I completely understand on that part. Like as you said, if they keep the game as is right now and you can go and play whatever trials you want, I probably wouldn't either. Like as you said, like I haven't been playing much like lately. I'm only logging in. I'm even doing the ad summons, and I don't know why. I think I'm gonna stop. I haven't done them today. I won't do them. But to me, I think why I would like that is because I want to experience, as I said earlier, I want to experience the new player experience when you got to the game with the like the weak units when 3 stars were the highest you can get when you needed to what chain 2 Kefka and you used Blizzard and that was the highest damage you could deal. Like that's what I want to experience. Like not this stupid meta where if you don't kill the boss that turn you're dead, or if if your tank dies then you're dead, if you take damage this turn you're dead. Like I want my unit to be able to take a punch and it's normal like a regular FF game, and then I guess it's not FFBE anymore. Maybe you're right.
See, that's kind of the whole problem. Is
Hmm.
in order for an offline version to be worth playing, there has to be a progression line.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you log in and you're stagnant and you log in for the fun of it one time and then there's no point anymore.
Hmm.
You have to have a progression. And
Yeah.
for that to happen, they would have to redesign the game as a single player game, and that, it'd be awesome, but that's never going to happen.
Yeah, no, I mean that would
And
be too much work for them.
yeah, and I saw on Reddit some fans talking about their redesign in the game in like RPG Maker or something,
Yeah.
and I mean, that's an awesome idea, but and I don't think it's gonna ever pan out. Like, if it does, great. I'll probably try it out myself, but I don't know. It
I
just seems like too much work and
yeah.
too big of an effort.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what comes out of those efforts. Maybe they're going to give up halfway through. Maybe they're just going to, do season one or something. Uh, I guess we'll see. I'm, interested in checking it out, but probably that in 2 months I'll have forgotten everything about FFB and I will be playing other stuff. I've been playing Expedition 33 as I told you earlier. That game is awesome. If you like RPGs, if you love Legend of Dragoon, you want to go play this. This is going to be all. It's a perfect game for you, with some inputs for the attacks and even evasion, which wasn't in Legend of Dragoon. Like the story's great. It's a French game, French developer, so there's going to be French words, and people with weird accent like me. Uh, I'm not even playing the game in French, by the way, which is a shame.
I've
Uh,
actually seen a lot of comment. I can't tell if there's like they're joking or they're being serious, but people are like it's not meant as an insult. People like say on forums and all like this game is so French. I think to myself like, what does that even mean? I don't get it. What does that mean? Like they
okay,
can't be speaking French because you I'm sure it's in English. Otherwise you couldn't understand it. What does that even mean? It's so French. Like
okay,
do they serve French bread all day? Like, I don't get it. What does that mean?
Okay, so basically, the world in which you are is probably in France, because there is the Eiffel Tower in the beginning city called Lumière, which means light. And they pronounce it like each character has a different way of pronouncing it, like Lumière, Lumière, but it's Lumière, which means like yes. Then there, there you see the Eiffel Tower, like it's bent in the back. There's a couple of words in French that you're gonna see, that you're gonna hear here and there. So that they're gonna say merde all the time, which means shit, or putain, which means damn. And once again, like each character will have a weird pronunciation for the word. But they kept that in. The characters' names are very French. The main character's name is Gustave, like that turtle in Across the Obelisk. Was it Gustave, right?
Oh,
And then there's Maëlle, like a very French name. A girl, another girl's name is, they pronounce it Lune, but it's Lune, which means moon. It drives me insane every time they say her name. But it's her name. I can't judge the pronunciation. There's like events also, like the gommage that they say gommage, which means, I guess what they were going with that is like the erasure. Anyway, I'm not gonna spoil too much of the story, but yeah, there's a lot of French words in it, and I mean, you even fight mimes to unlock costumes, mimes, and
all
like
right.
the
Well,
first,
so now I kind of understand what people mean then.
yeah,
That
it
makes
is
sense to
very
me.
French, and the first costume you unlock by defeating a mime is called baguette. Like they weren't even hiding it. It's like, yeah, we're French, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'm near the end of the game. Loved it. Then I'll probably go play Deltarune chapters 3 and 4 because I have put that off for so long, and then I'll wait for new games. Oh, Silent Hill. Silent Hill F is coming out in 2 weeks. I have to get on that. Oh my god. Anyway, I'll be playing a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna list everything here. Um, I was wondering. I think we talked about Resident Evil together once or twice. Have you ever played those games?
Oh, I love Resident. Well, I haven't played the newer ones, but
Okay.
yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I played the first one,
Okay. Okay. Well, that's very
but
good still.
yeah, they were awesome. Like every now and then, I will literally still load up Resident Evil 2 on an emulator and like speed run through it just because it's the controls are horrible in this day and age.
Yes.
Horrible controls, but if you're used to it, it's fine. But it was such a cool game back then. It still holds up today as like a little horror bad graphics, so maybe it doesn't hold up, but
I
it's
mean,
still fun to play for someone that played it back in the day. I
yeah, if
still
you have
love
the
Resident Evil
memories,
2.
agreed. It was a great game. And the Resident Evil game, like, were the perfect mix of serious and camp, like silly at the same time. So I like two was probably the best one. You should try the remakes if you haven't, because this fixes all your problems you can have with controls. And
Okay.
if ever you go back, maybe you should record a video. I'd be curious to see you like speedrun two through Resident Evil 2. I love watching speedruns of that game. I watched a lot of Resident Evil content. The Silent Hill remake, Silent Hill 2 remake was great. And yeah, F that's coming out soon. I'm very excited to try it. Uh, yeah, horror games. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, so yeah, I think that's it for FFBE and our little tangent. Anything else you'd like to discuss?
Um, Not that comes to mind. We've covered pretty much most of it.
All right.
Um, I guess if you want to spend like just a second or two on conspiracy theories, what do you think is the reason they're giving up on Brave Extras? Why are they closing it down? Because is it because the game has peaked, like they can't innovate any further? Is it just purely a decision from president of the company? What do you
I
think is the reason it's time to close the doors?
That's a good question. I think, to me anyway, the most obvious answer is money. The game wasn't bringing any money, like enough money anymore, and so they just decided to shut down. Also, probably they didn't really know what to do to get people to pull on new units anymore, because the unit design became very stale, with no innovation whatsoever. Like, we've had some units before that had, chaining modifiers, normal attack chaining, some people that were using spells, but for the past 3 years at least, LB, 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 LB only and nothing else. So I think they couldn't invest the budget to make any innovation to the game anymore, because they couldn't get the revenue from it to warrant it.
Makes sense, and it probably is something simple as that, just not enough money. That's
Hmm.
all it is.
Yeah, and I mean now they still have War of the Visions that's going, and they're trying to funnel care people to that. It's not working for me. I'm sorry, Maxi. Uh,
Uh, Wait, but is it? I thought I could be hallucinating. I thought I saw that War of the Visions was closing too. Is it not?
no, Global is dead. Global is dead, but
Oh,
JP's still
but wait.
going.
Okay, okay. So I guess talk about that when that closes in 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably going to. I give it maybe another year or 2 years, because I think it came out after 2 years of FFBE. So they
Oh,
might
okay.
get that milestone of 10 years as well. But after that, I don't think it's going to keep going. Um, and I mean, if it keeps going, all the more power to them. We'll keep grieving our dead child while they are still thriving in the back.
Yeah,
I
I kind of make jokes about or War of the Visions, but I really honestly don't have any like ill will towards
no,
like
me
they're the
neither.
other guy. I have to not like them.
Exactly, that's it. And you know what? I love tactics game. It's just that on my phone, on the go, and how predatory it was at the beginning, it left a bad taste in my mouth, and I never got back to it. Apparently, it got better. I just didn't feel like going back. And I'm
I
excited
try.
for. Oh,
Yeah, I tried War of the Visions, and I really did enjoy the combat system. But for me, it was the grind.
yeah.
Like I had like 3 units that were ready for upgrades or whatever. She needed all those materials, and it was like
Yes.
hours and hours and hours of grinding the same stage for them. I'm like, no,
Hmm.
I can't.
And then you're like, yeah, there's so much grinding that you couldn't progress the story. And I wanted to progress the story. And then when you pull on a unit, you never get anything, and you need to pull so many different copies of the unit so that you can actually enhance them. It was exhausting. So yeah, I couldn't stick with it at all. Uh, but yeah, hopefully it thrives for some more time. We'll see. And yeah, with that, I guess I will say a couple of thank yous. So, first of all, to you, Senzar, being here, because you carried the whole community on your shoulders for so long until you stopped playing, and people were still claiming for you to come back out of retirement to come and help. People were still, wondering what Sinzar is doing, and people were still remembering the good old days when you were showing us how to do this and that, and how good you were to every one of us, always ready to help, change your friend unit in the game, make a video to make a guide with budget units, even though, you felt like a trial was simple. Show people how to do stuff. You were always so patient with everyone. So for that, thank you very much from the whole community. I'm sure everyone agrees. Thank you very much for all your help.
Glad I could help.
Then I will say once again, thank you very much to everyone who took care of the wiki, everyone who worked on, external tools for the game. So I know that I haven't met any. Well, I haven't met anyone at all, but I haven't talked to anyone to everyone who's done the wiki. But there was Slime that did it when I started. There was Yeti that did it as well. Thank you, thank you, Slime. Thank you, Yeti. Thank you, Bakaneko, who has been doing it for the past couple weeks. And thank you. I forgot his name, but there was someone with whom I was doing the pages manually not too long ago. Oh, was it a Dimos? I think so. Thank you to you
Oh
too.
yeah, yeah. He made a few of them by hand,
Yeah,
which is probably a lot of work.
it was, and I was just providing him with the transliteration of the ability names, and he was making the pages from scratch, which was a lot of work. So thank you very much for your dedication for that. I remember those days. Thank you to anyone who has, joined me as a guest on a video. Thank you to people who have made, some guide videos here and there as well. Thank you, Ubonic, for showing us, the limits of the game because you were the top whale that we knew. Thank you, Bear Day, for showing us that patience can get the best of the Grace trials. You were very good with those always. Thank you to Kojimaru, even though he's not going to be watching this video, for making his guides. For even though like he wasn't speaking English, he always gave us some subtitles so that we could try to understand what was going on. Everything was always clear. We were always able to follow when we had the units, um, and yeah, I think that's. And thank you to the whole community. Thank you for memeing with me on Discord. Thank you for uh, allowing me to and supporting me with my videos. Because I really enjoyed making these videos and just yapping about the game, even though I wasn't the best at it at all. I just had a platform and used it. um, and thank you, Alim, Gumi, Square Enix for the game. That was really fun, a really fun time. Um, and if ever there's a next game, see you in the. What did they say again? See you next stage.
Oh,
I think that's
to
what it
be
said.
next
To
stage
yes,
or
to
the
be next stage. So if ever to be next stage. All right.
later.
Thanks everyone. Bye.